Story 1. The Mystery of the Forgotten Bride. In a small town shrouded in fog and mysteries, something peculiar was happening. A young and beautiful bride named Allison was preparing for her wedding. Everything was perfect: the dress, the flowers, the invited guests, but on the day of the wedding, Allison vanished. The wedding hall was filled with expectant guests, and the groom, Michael, stood at the altar, nervously awaiting his bride. A time passed, but Allison never appeared. Her parents were distraught, and the search for her began immediately. However, despite all efforts, Allison remained missing. Years went by, and the wedding became a local legend. The townsfolk spoke of the ghost of the forgotten bride, wandering the town in her wedding gown. Some claimed to have seen her in the dark corners of the cemetery, while others heard her cries in the night. This story became part of the town's folklore. However, 10 years after Allison's disappearance, a stranger named Samuel arrived in the town. He learned about the legend of the forgotten bride and became intrigued by this mysterious piece of history. Samuel began conducting his own investigation and uncovered some intriguing details. It turned out that on the wedding day, Allison had received a mysterious letter from a secret admirer who claimed to love her more than anyone else. But the letter contained a strange proposition to run away with him and start a new life far away from the town. Excited by these words, Allison agreed to meet her admirer shortly before the wedding. When Samuel discovered this, he started searching for traces of this mysterious admirer. He delved into the town's dark archives and learned that a woman named Margaret, who called herself Allison's secret admirer, was involved with a wealthy and cruel man known for his tyranny and control over the town. It seemed that Margaret was jealous of Allison and sought revenge for becoming the object of her lover's affection. But perhaps it was she who sent the mysterious letter to lure Allison to the cemetery that night. Samuel found evidence linking Margaret to the local church and cemetery. He went there and discovered an old and neglected grave with Margaret's name. It turned out that she had died shortly after Allison's disappearance. Realizing that the story of the forgotten bride was connected to Allison's vanishing, Samuel rallied the townspeople, and they decided to perform a ritual to reconcile the souls of Allison and Margaret. They gathered at the cemetery on the anniversary of Allison's disappearance and made offerings in memory of both women. That night, as they finished the ritual, the townspeople noticed a bright glow in the distance. They approached and discovered that the light was emanating from Allison's grave. Suddenly, the ground trembled, and a figure emerged from the grave. It was Allison, wearing her wedding gown. She explained that Margaret had imprisoned her in an underground chamber beneath the cemetery all those years. Margaret had used Allison's disappearance to cover up her own wickedness and control the town. And now freed, Allison begged for forgiveness from the townspeople and promised to start a new life. Samuel and Allison continued their investigation together, determined to bring Margaret to justice for her crimes. They gathered evidence and handed it over to the police, who finally exposed Margaret's deeds and put her behind bars. The story of the forgotten bride served as a warning to the townspeople that nothing can remain concealed forever. The entire town was freed from the curse, and its residents no longer suffered from the ghost of the forgotten bride. Thus, the tale of familial horror came to an end, leaving a deep impact on the hearts of the townspeople. It reminds us of the power of love and how, even in the darkest times, true happiness can be found.